Which of these is the best PTZ camera? Go ahead in the comment section, put your answer right now, and we're going to talk about it in this video. We're going to take a look at some of the features that you really need to pay attention to make sure that you get the best PTZ camera for you. These aren't all the PTZ cameras that I've used. This is just a video more so to help you get the camera that's best for you, not necessarily saying that you have to get any one of these per se. But I'm going to help you identify the best camera going over these features. Now, the cameras that I have here are just a few of the different manufacturers I use. I can't include all of them on the desk because, quite frankly, I would have to uninstall some of the cameras and there's just not enough space to begin with. But check the link in the description for all the cameras that I've used and tested. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Now it's time to help you pick the best camera for you. When choosing the best camera for you, one of the obvious things to look at is just the overall design. As you can see, each of these cameras has a little bit different of a form factor. You may want a certain color. As you can see, we have a white PTZ camera as well as compared to the gray and black cameras. Design itself is one of those factors that will help you select the camera that you're looking for. The next thing to consider, which I think is the most important, are the features of the camera that you need. Maybe you're starting off with your first camera solo by itself and you don't need an elaborate setup. What type of connections are you going to be using for your PTZ camera? You may want to consider a PTZ camera that has a USB port. That way you can connect it directly to your live streaming computer without the need for any additional cables, capture cards, or video switchers. Just one USB port can connect your PTZ camera directly to your camera. We have a PTZ Optics camera that allows for a USB connection, and it is really simple to use. Literally, it's one cable and that's all you need. Now, a more preferred way and more common way overall of connecting your camera to your video switching environment is to make sure that your PTZ camera has an HDMI output. By having an HDMI output, we have a common connection that allows us to connect directly to our video switcher, or if we want to use that HDMI output for our live streaming computer, we simply need a video capture card and then plug it into our computer. Now, if you have the technical expertise or just a little bit more patience to learn how to do it, you can use the network cable on the back of your PTZ camera. Not all cameras come with a network cable, so when you're considering this option, make sure that you first have a network infrastructure in your facility to support network connectivity. Now, if you think in the future you would use this capability, you can still use the USB port or the HDMI port and then use the NDI port later on in the future. So always think about future-proofing yourself as well, especially when you're thinking about potential upgrades that could happen in the near future. One of the aspects that I really like about networking your cameras is the ability to use PoE, which is power over Ethernet. It's one less cable that you have to use in your setup. So rather than plugging in a power cable to your camera and a network cable, you can actually just use a network cable in your PoE camera. Now make sure that your camera is PoE compatible, because if it is, that network cable will power on the camera and also send the data feed that you need for your video transmission. Another feature that I really like, especially if you're using multiple PTZ cameras, is the tally light function. So if you have talent, they actually know which camera to look at, and that camera is either live or in preview mode. Now, I use this camera at a local workshop. I'll link to it in the description and at the top of this video if you want to check it out. But this camera really came in handy because the tally lights let the talent know which camera to actually look at. Natively, PTZ cameras aren't the best performing cameras in low light situations, okay? That's just what it is. Their sensor is not as large as some of the sensors you would find on mirrorless cameras or camcorders. PTZ cameras really work well in most all situations if given the proper lighting. These cameras have the ability to do 1080p resolution, 720p, time to let that go. But you can even go higher in your resolution. You can use 4K PTZ cameras as well. If you're streaming at 4K, you're going to use a lot more bandwidth on your network. So you need to make sure that your internet upload speed gives you the ability to do so. And then you're also going to need to make sure that the rest of your infrastructure is 4K compatible. Think about future-proofing yourself again if you're looking to probably use 4K in the near future, or you have the infrastructure ready to go and built out to use that capability. But using 1080p is the minimum, I would say, for a quality looking broadcast, especially as more and more people are beginning to watch YouTube and other live streaming platforms on their large TVs. So you gotta make sure that the quality is there. Another thing to consider when using PTZ cameras is any unique functionality. Now, this camera in particular, the VertiCam from Yolo Live, has the ability for vertical video, not 16:9, but 9:16, which is a very good thing if you're live streaming to a platform like TikTok or Instagram. So the best PTZ camera is going to be based on what you actually need. Which features are you going to use? And that will help you select which one of these is the best. Now, when considering using these PTZ cameras, you also want to consider the manufacturer. Now, some of these companies don't just make the camera, but they also make accessory equipment that goes along with the camera. For example, Data Video not only makes this 4K camera, but they also make a 4K touchscreen device. Not all companies have that type of equipment. So their entire infrastructure is really in line to help you produce some high quality video presentation, and you could stay in their entire ecosystem for everything that you need. Another company that does a really great job at this is Yolo Live. Not only do they make a vertical PTZ camera, but they also make a portable video encoding device. So you can pretty much live stream from anywhere in the world with the combination of their camera and their live streaming device. Or you can plug other cameras into their live streaming device. But their ecosystem has a good base. And maybe you're considering a camera from PTZ Optics. Not only do they make a great 1080p camera, they recently released a 4K camera, and my favorite PTZ controller is the SuperJoy controller. So their infrastructure is there, and they also have some of the best customer service you could ask for. I had an issue with my HuddleCam controller one time. They walked me through it and it was good to go. Haven't had an issue with it since. PTZ Optics is also really good about giving you the firmware updates that you need for your cameras to keep them going strong. So definitely you have things to consider when choosing the best camera for you. And some of the things that I look for are features and customer service. And of course, the elephant in the room is budget. They can range from a few $100s to a few $1,000s, and it really just depends on the features that you need in a camera. So make sure you go through that checklist and figure out, what do you really need? What are you trying to accomplish with your PTZ camera? Now check out this next video. BZB Gear just sent me over their brand new 4K camera, and I want you to check it out right now.